Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome everyone here to the regular scheduled meeting of the Birmingham City Council, the January 7th, 2020 regular council meeting. We're going to have our invocation by Pastor Matthews and our Pledge of Allegiance by Councilor Hoyt. If everyone could stand.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you so much for this privilege and opportunity to once again approach your throne of grace. Your word says that we should boldly approach your throne where we can find mercy and grace to help in our time of need. You said that, Father, first of all, prayer should be made in supplication for men and women who are in authority. And you said when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked rule, the people mourn. So we pray, Father, for those who are in authority and gather together in this chamber of legislation and rulemaking, rule keeping, and rule enforcement. We pray for the President of these United States that there will be a Nebuchadnezzar-like experience so that you, at the end of the day, will make yourself known that you rule in the kingdom of men. And as Nebuchadnezzar himself had to acknowledge that you alone are the Lord of heaven and earth. I pray that for every person that serves at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, in the District of Columbia, all of our House of Representatives, our senators, our legislators at large, our congresspersons, for them we now pray. For every governor of every state, for every mayor of every city, for every council person, for every alder person, for them we now pray in Jesus' name. I pray specifically for the city of Birmingham. Father, you spoke to me this morning about dispatching angels. You said, surely goodness and mercy should follow us all the days of our lives, and we dwell in the house of the Lord forever. We commit this city to you in this early meeting of this year, that this will become another of your city of angels as we dispatch them in every community, the 99 neighborhoods over which these council persons legislate. May the people's concerns and your concerns be these lawmakers and law protectors' concerns. Father, for every project in this city, the many and mega projects that are large and tall and broad in their scope and trajectory in the city of Birmingham, we pray protection. As I was writing the other day, Father, you said that we should declare that this is a place where new highways go up, but they're incident and accident free. Accidents don't have to happen. And you said, except the Lord build the house, the watchman waketh but in vain, and except the Lord keep the city, it is vain to rise up early to protect it. So we give you this city. We give you these council persons. We give you their cognition, their decision making. We, Father, arrest burglaries, and we arrest trafficking. We arrest those persons who have evil cognitions and decisions, and we yield to the Holy Spirit in Jesus' name. I thank you, Lord, for an overflow of provision in this city, that there will be businesses and commerce that looks to this city as a city that is set upon the hill whose light cannot be hid. Pray for our mayor. I pray for his decision making. And Father, we commit all things to you. And in the name of Jesus, we receive a spirit of wisdom and revelation that can only come from you. We thank you now and give you praise forevermore. In the mighty and majestic name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Good morning, Mr. Clerk.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Can you roll call, please?
Council President Pro Tem Alexander.
Good morning, here.
Good morning, man. Councilmember Hilliard.
Good morning.
Good morning. Councilmember Hoyt. Councilmember O'Quinn.
Good morning.
Good morning. Councilmember Smitherman.
Good morning.
Good morning. Councilmember Williams. Councilmember Woods.
Present.
Councilmember Abbott. President Parker.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. The minutes for July 9th and 16th. Need a motion?
Second.
Mr. President Pro Tem Alexander and Councilor Smithman.
All right, voting should be open. And I see nobody pushing buttons. they probably need to be synced.
No.
Any no votes? Any no votes? No? Okay. I'll log everyone as a yes, and we'll get the system running for you right quick. All right, that vote should be up. Mr.
All right,
President.
that item passes. Minutes, July 23rd and through December 30th are not ready. So, good morning, Mr. Mayor. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Morning, Mr. President, and good morning to this. You good for right now? Wait one second. Good morning to everyone. Good morning to the public. I want to start by wishing everyone a happy New Year. I know we are 7 days into the New Year weekend, but I haven't seen most of you because I've been away. Which brings me to my next point. I want to take the time to publicly thank this entire council for your calls, for your texts. Some of you all actually even came to the public viewing hour, and a couple of you all stayed for the funeral. Reggie Kellum, my stepfather, married to my mom for the last 16 years, passed away unexpectedly and suddenly last Tuesday, and we laid him to rest yesterday. And it's been a hard week, especially for my mom, but I did want to acknowledge your presence and your outpour of support. It means a lot to me personally, and to my staff, and to the citizens at large who have also reached out in this time of grief. I want to thank each of you as well. Let me start by bringing Lieutenant Huluska up, who is the president of the Fraternal Order of Police, who has a short presentation he would like to give on behalf of Sergeant Carter, and then he'll turn it back over to me.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the council, citizens of the city of Birmingham. I have here with me Terry Endert. She is the wife of Sergeant Endert, who works for the Birmingham Police Department. Last year on January 13th, as everybody knows, we lost one of our members of the police department here in the city of Birmingham. Sergeant Carter was more than a police officer. He was a father, he was a brother, he was somebody's son. He's a man that gave his life to the city, and she found it in her heart to make this last year, and we thought that this would be a proper time to present it to, we're going to present it to the chief, the mayor, to be hung at North Precinct as a memorial for Sergeant Carter. Next Monday will be the 1-year anniversary, how quickly it has gone, that we had lost one of our own police officers here in the city of Birmingham due to violence. But she just wanted to present this to the chief. And we just wanted to thank you for your time to let us present this at the council meeting so that we could get that placed in the police department for the memory of Sergeant Carter.
Mr. President, I'm actually referring to the president of FOP. I want to thank you all for the continued support of Sergeant Carter's family throughout this past year. On that note, I think outside of, in addition to Sergeant Carter being killed last year in the line of duty, we had several other officers shot in the line of duty last year. And we're glad to see that they persevered and made it through. One is still in recovery. I believe one is also back in the line of duty, even if it's light duty. But a lot of that had to do with a lot of their lives were able to be saved because people donated blood. These officers needed blood. Tomorrow we actually have a blood drive, and I want to speak to that for a minute. The American Red Cross will host a blood drive tomorrow, January 8th, at the Boutwell Auditorium in honor of Birmingham Police Officer Lucas Adams and Officer Cullen Stafford, who were shot in line of duty. but again, both survived. They were taken to UAB's Trauma Center and received multiple units of life-saving blood products. And so I want to invite all of our city employees. I even want to challenge all of our city employees to participate and save a life in the future. The blood drive will be held tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Again, that's 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. tomorrow, Wednesday, January 8th, at the Boutwell Auditorium. Currently, of 3,000 plus employees, only 12 people have signed up. And so I want to issue a small challenge to all of us. Of a small minimum goal of 3,000 plus employees, only 120 people, or a minimum of 120 people. We need a minimum of 120 people to sign up and register by tomorrow to give blood. And so we can continue to save lives, not just for our officers, but for people in the city. I want to challenge the department heads to have a little department challenge with each other, and I also want to acknowledge, if you need an incentive, there will be $20 and $50 gift cards given away, not by the city of Birmingham, but by the Red Cross. So again, this blood drive is tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and I hope you take the time out of your schedule to save a life. Mr. President, a couple more notes. One is to your district directly. We're kicking off again our town halls for the 2020 year. The first one will be held with Council President William Parker on Tuesday, January 21st at the Shields Conference Center. Community partners will meet with residents at 5:30, and the meeting will start promptly at 6 p.m. And I hope the residents of District 4 are able to attend. And for everyone else, stay tuned in for a schedule of future town hall meetings. At this time, I want to invite Galvin Billups up from the Division of Youth Services, as well as Candace Hardy of the Birmingham Public Library, to share more information about DYS and the library joining teams, and the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute as well. Sorry, come on up if you're available, to present a free program aimed at young males between the ages of 11 and 18 on Saturday, January 18th, to talk about what we call brothers in bow ties.
I want to thank the mayor, and also want to thank the city council and also the members of the public. I am Galvin Billups. I serve as the executive director for the mayor's office, Division of Youth Services, and joining me is also members of the Birmingham Public Library who will also introduce themselves. And just want to thank the public for the opportunity to share information about this great event that's happening on MLK weekend. It's Brothers in Bow Ties. It is our mentoring event that's going to provide a lot of conversation around getting young people to the place that they need to be in order to be successful. It's going to be Saturday, January the 18th, from 12 to 4 at the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute. And much of the planning is really devoted around the Birmingham Public Library. They have done a fantastic job in putting this event together. So I'm going to turn it over to Candace Hardy, who serves as the program outreach coordinator for the library.
Thank you. Good morning. As stated, the Birmingham Public Library is excited about its partnership with the Mayor's Office Division of Youth Services to provide a pilot initiative entitled Brothers in Bow Ties, which will take place at the historical Birmingham Civil Rights Institute on January 18th from 12 noon until 4 p.m. Our keynote speaker is Birmingham native, author and motivational speaker Timothy Alexander, who plans to share his personal testimony, which highlights the importance of literacy, positive self-imagery, and perseverance. This event is free, however, registration is required. For more information on this event, feel free to visit us at www.cobpl.org, or you may follow us on any social media platform. Tickets are also available, or you may make ticket reservations at Eventbrite under Brothers and Bowties. We have invitations as well as flyers for each of you to take back to your community. For all of our male leaders of the city, we are asking that you donate one bow tie or tie out of your closet and attach to it a personalized note to our males. We would like to thank the community as well as Growing Kings, the Birmingham Public Library Real Mentors Talk, as well as the executive staff at the Division of Youth Services for their contributions thus far. So thank you so much for your continued support in all of our efforts.
Thank you.
Mr. President and Council, I have one more note, and that is to give an update to you all in the public as it relates to crime year-to-date between January 1 of 2019 and December 31st of 2019. Mr. Sheet being passed to each of you, I know we talk about crime as it relates to its impact on the community. We talk about crime as it relates to the impact on the individual victim and families. But I wanted today to speak to crime around where we are versus where it was in 18 year to date, and looking at it from a big picture standpoint over a year's time. And you don't want to necessarily use the word happy, but there is progress in decreasing crime. And so what you have here is for the public to see the same information you all have in your hand. We tend to only talk about homicides, but I think, and I actually want the president of FOP to come back up and Chief Smith to come back up if they're still in the room, because I have to commend the work they've done over this past year versus last year. And I'm referring to years as 19 and 18. As you see, homicides are down 9%. Rape is down in our city 16%. Robbery is down 25%. Aggravated assaults are down 12.3%. Something that has been on all of your minds as it relates to shots being fired in our city is down 17.8%. Burglaries are down 13.2%. I'm going to come back to auto theft. Unlawful breaking and entering vehicles is down 8.2%. Theft is down 10.3%. Total violent crime down a total of 15%. And property crime total down 8.9%. And as you can see, the only thing that increased was actual auto theft, which is up by 1.2%. I share this information with you. Of course, you all receive it on a weekly basis from time to time, but I wanted you to see the entire snapshot year to date of January 1 of 19 to December 31st of 19 compared to January 1 of 18 to December 31st of 18. Any of these crimes in isolation, one homicide is too many, one rape is too many, one robbery is too many. Any of these are one is too many. And there are victims we have to keep in mind and how it affects the community. But I do think we have to give pause and appreciate the fact that crime is not increasing. We also have to give pause that crime is not at the same level. That year to date, crime has actually decreased. And the truth is, Chief Patrick Smith and his leadership team and all the officers who are on all the beats in East and West and North and South, they've done tremendous work. But the truth is there can be many other people that stand up here with them. Our community leaders, our neighborhood presidents and officers, members of neighborhood watch programs, our activists, many of them are seated here and standing here, and other organizations we partner with around conflict resolution, and many other people and organizations have all played a part in decreasing crime in the city. But there is one group in addition to the police I want to acknowledge, and that's the citizens. Most of the time we talk about crime. What we don't talk about is actually bringing justice to the people who are victims of crime. And what we've had an increase in this year is the ability to solve crimes. We've seen an increase in solving and making arrests for our homicides. We've decreased our robberies because we've actually been capturing those who have been committing the robberies. And for all the other crime categories, that is not only due to police work, but police heavily depend on either evidence and equally important witnesses. And so I want to acknowledge the public, everyday citizens in the city of Birmingham who have stepped up to the plate, who come forward to share information, who've made the 911 calls, who've had the interviews with detectives and everyone else who've worked under Chief Smith, to say thank you for your diligence, thank you for not being afraid, thank you for speaking up, thank you for pointing out the bad person, thank you for pointing out who's committing the crime, so we can continue to bring people to justice. We believe the more we have the ability to actually solve crime, the more that allows us to decrease crime. And I thought it was important to share this information with you so you can actually be armed as elected officials with factual information. And so when we speak to and address crime, even though one shot is too many, one homicide is too many, you need to know that crime is actually decreasing overall in our city. And so I want to publicly acknowledge Chief Smith and all the officers that are part of Birmingham Police Department and the community. Thank you. Mr. President, that concludes the mayor's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for that report on crime. We had a neighborhood executive committee last night meeting, and one of the topics that came up was training for citizens in not only personal safety, but how to help the police, how to be an asset to the police instead of just complainers, because I'm sure that there are things that residents could do that would actually be helpful, but they don't always know what those things are. And so I was wondering, and the group was wondering, if there could be any training set up by the police department for citizens who want to know about personal safety, things they can do to keep safe, but also how they can help the police to catch the bad guys and stop them from coming in the first place.
So we have an actual Citizens Police Academy, Citizens on Patrol, the academies every year. I think what you can see from the mayor's office in partnership with the council's office is for us to publicly promote this more, to let our citizens and residents, particularly in your individual districts, know this opportunity exists for them to participate in the police Citizens Academy, that they get direct engagement from the police department, and then are armed to go out here and better protect themselves and protect their block, their street, their neighborhood. In addition to that, the Coffee with the Cop, which we started last year, we'll continue to do this year, are ways for citizens to interact with our police more, to not only build more trust and relationships, but to engage in, I guess, from direct contact with an actual beat officer, how to better interact with their community, again, on their block, their street, their neighborhood. There is one more point I had and I lost it. It'll come back to me in a minute. And oh, here it is. The app. We spoke to an app. It is not up yet, but you all 2 weeks ago approved the ability for the city of Birmingham to be able to use technology in a more way to address crime issues. So it flows both ways. It flows externally from the police department to be able to share information with community members and individuals, which include those who need information. But it allows citizens to be able to report and share information too. I also want to remind our citizens that, and there is an acknowledgement I forgot to get. My mom would appreciate this. She wanted me to publicly acknowledge the Birmingham Fire and Rescue Service for their response time to her home last week. But I'm mentioning that because she ended up dropping she dropped the phone and 911 called her back. We want our citizens to know that you can also text 911. So if you don't know that, as elected officials, please share that with your residents, that they can actually text 911. But those are the ways. that citizens can engage in better, being more equipped and aware of how to address crime in their individual areas. I want to note something, this first line, homicides. You all may see numbers different from what the media, our local media is giving, and I want to explain that, and it's important to explain that. The Federal Bureau of Investigations, the FBI, who we are mandated by to turn in our actual crime statistics to, actual numbers. We collect our numbers on a daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly basis. They do not report justifiable homicides. The city of Birmingham had a high number last year, what we call, what the FBI deems, what the district attorney deems, of not charging people who were defending themselves. Last year, there were, in 2019, there were 12. And so the number you may see from the media, they count all numbers. What you see here is 91. The number of justifiable homicides is 12, where people were defending themselves and they were not charged with the crime. And the FBI does not report those numbers, and so we don't either. And so I wanted you to know that, because I understand there's some websites or there's some numbers you may see differently from the actual crime stats that exist right here on the ground. So I wanted to note that, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilor Hort.
Yes, good morning to you, Mr. Mayor. Good morning to this council and this august body. I'm glad that you presented this information, because I think our citizens deserve to understand how you quantify these numbers. But in actuality, there was 113 homicides, and if they were justified, I don't think you can go and tell the family that they were justified. I just don't think we minimize that impact. 113 folk lost their lives to gun violence. And so I don't know how we celebrate crime down when in actuality 13 people lost their life. They're no longer here with us. And I certainly appreciate the police's efforts. But the fact of the matter is we need a plan. We need a real plan that addresses these issues. And we just can't be talking about them. We got to put those things in action. And it's still, Birmingham is a dangerous place. It is. And of course, from a council standpoint, I think we've given every tool that's been asked of us. We've approved that. But we have not received any real tangible results. And, when I think about crime down, you tell me if we 30% down or 40% or 50%, then I'm going to celebrate that. But beyond that, the crime is up. It's a known fact, and I didn't make these numbers up. I didn't, I read them like everybody else reads them. But we have to have a plan, and I really hadn't seen a plan. And I want to say that New Year's Eve night, or New Year's night, I thought I was in Beirut. I mean, the guns went off. And I kept thinking that I see a police car to ride through, and never. And my wife we was trying to take down the Christmas tree, and we got away she had to get away from the window, because these bullets don't have a name on them, And so, but I think it's important that our citizens just kind of know the truth. We don't need to sugarcoat it. Because we want them to be alarmed. I mean, that's the whole point. To be alarmed, to be aware that crime is up. And so, anybody else can buy it, but I won't, because I've been victimized by crime. My car's been broken into over 17 times. House been broken into 3 times. And so I'm a little sensitive when you say crime is down. I'm a little sensitive when I hear gunshots in the middle of the night and sometime during the day. So, but that's fine. I imagine that you would sell it to some folk, but I'm not convinced that crime is down.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir. And then Ms. Abbott, I'll call on. Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
homicide is defined by the unlawful taking of another person's life. So I think the beauty of this conversation is no one is celebrating crime. I think in addition to that, on New Year's Eve, we had a based year to date on 18. Those celebratory gunshots were down 18%. Now, Shot Spotters allows us to keep those numbers. So at least with 8 of you all, I think you're comfortable being armed with factual information that's actually in your face. And I want to thank you. And have a good morning. Look forward to seeing you at the State of the City.
Mr. President?
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, you got some more.
Yeah, I got a call.
Hold on, Cal. Oh, I mean, you responded to this. Okay, go
I
ahead.
had more
Go
than
ahead.
one concern.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
And then we'll go to Ms. Abbott and then Mr. Hilliard, and if you
very
need to
good.
come back.
Yeah, well, and I'm also concerned, I got a call this weekend about how nasty District 8 is. We hadn't had a sweeper since probably last year, or well, way before last year. And the leaves are still on the ground, and we're not, the sweet sweeper hadn't been there. It hasn't. And it just looks like a forgotten district. Now, whether you care about me or whatever, I represent a group of people. And they deserve the same kind of treatment any of these other districts get. And I'm just, and if I didn't, worry about divulging the person's name, I'll play this back for you. But you probably know who it is, but they call me. And so I'm telling you, we have no attention over there in District 8. It looks like a war zone. And, and I'm telling you, I don't have to make this up. We got folk who work for the city who live in District 8. And they would tell you that it's filthy. And we need to do something about it. We cannot start a new year off dealing with old issues around cleanliness.
Councilor Abbott.
Mr. President.
Mr. Mayor, let me allow Councilor Abbott, at least because they haven't spoken, we'll Councilor Abbott, Councilor Hilliard, we'll wrap it up. Councilor Abbott.
Thank you. And my question or comment is for the mayor, and it is regarding the drop in crime. And I do believe that there's a drop in crime, but the gunfire in my neighborhood went up. It went up so much that I called the police number to complain about the gunfire. And at the time I called, I told them I was hearing it to the west of me, to the north of me, and to the east of me, but I didn't hear anything from the south. And as soon as I hung up the phone, gunfire came from the south. So I was surrounded by gunfire. And that's in my little neighborhood where I'm fairly certain we don't have a shot spotter. But the people at the meeting last night said that with neighborhood funds, they would be willing to buy shot spotters, additional ones. They would be willing to buy cameras. I think we're still going to get cameras on our streets, aren't we? So they want to use neighborhood funds to fund some for that area of town, so that when these things happen, the bad guys can at least be identified where the problems are emanating from, even if we don't catch the person individually. Because I think when the residents want to do something, they don't know exactly what to do, but they have neighborhood funds that they can put into it. So I just want you to know that there are people sitting out there waiting for an opportunity to vote extra funds to help with the problem. And then regarding the training, of Citizens Police Academy, if there could be a variety of dates, I think that we always have them on the same day of the week all the time, and people can't always make it. So if we could have some change in the variety of dates that those classes are offered so that more people could attend, I think that would be helpful to make it easy.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
the neighborhood people want to help with the problem, and they want to help by funding some of these additional tools for the police.
Understood. Thank you, Mr. President.
Did you have, okay.
Two things. Ms. Abbott, I heard everything you said. I'll work on those dates. Around the shot spotter issue and the request, let me talk to Chief, because I don't have a response to you on that. Around cleanliness, I think your colleague has presented me an opportunity to share some information. I've spoken to at least 4 of you all about a pilot program we're going to roll out around recycling in this city. But it speaks to a bigger note. I think at least 8 of you all are aware that street sweepers actually do exist in the city, because I just shared that with you all publicly 2 weeks ago, and how we have 4 of them and they come through your districts. But let me tell you what street sweepers don't do. If a resident within a certain neighborhood decides to get up, put clothes on, walk out of their home, walk to the neighborhood store, purchase something out of that neighborhood store, it's placed in a bag. They walk out of the neighborhood store, and before they get back home, they take that item out of their bag. They throw that bag on the ground, the same route they took to get back to the house in their neighborhood that they live in. Eat that bag of chips or have that drink and throw it on the ground in the neighborhood they live in. That's not something the street sweeper is responsible for. The opportunity that's been given to me is, you all know, like I know, at a certain point, adults, of course our children as well, but mainly adults in our communities, in our neighborhoods, have to take pride in where they live. And we pick up trash 2 days a week. We have our street sweepers. We have a program we think that's going to help better with recycling. But personal responsibility is still important in this city, and probably equally important, I would say more importantly, is pride. And people need to take pride in where they live in. And if a certain area continues to have trash, then at a certain point, I'm going to ask those adults, not necessarily the adults who continue to throw trash down where they live, because we can't help them because they're adults. But continued efforts with our neighborhood cleanups. We can't reduce our neighborhood cleanups through our volunteer programs only once a year or every 6 months, only when somebody's running for neighborhood officer. We need more routinely neighborhood cleanups, because if everyone's depending only on the city to clean up after nasty adults who continue to throw filth on the ground in their own neighborhood and own street, then your expectations are out of line. Now, I expect one of you, because that's what one of you all like to do, is challenge everything I say. I'm free to go back and forth as long as you want.
If you just prefer and not single anyone out.
Yes, sir, Mr.
Okay.
President.
All right, yes, sir. All right. Hold on. Councilor Hilliard has...
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You come back for just a second. Let me say this, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I want to thank the police department for its speedy response to violence. And in the area where I personally live, some kids had a party, and, girl got into it with the girl, and things happen. What I realized, one thing, Birmingham is a great city. And I want to say that this is a great city. I love living in Birmingham. I love working with our communities to clean up Birmingham. I think you have one thing you said, it's about personal responsibility also. And in my community and out throughout District 9, we talk about that. One of my neighborhood presidents, I will think her, Ellen Spencer, and I saw her and her husband walking along Cherry Avenue in Daniel Payne, where Daniel Payne Middle School and Daniel Payne College and all that used to be. That corridor is always just dirty. The minute you clean it up, 2 days later, people walk right through, they drive and they just toss stuff out the car all the time. So that I realize every 2 days, its trash is just building up. So community leaders from the Westchester area, from the Smithville Estates area, and around us just start going out there along with the city of Birmingham, cleaning it up ourselves. Because it's just hard to legislate morality. It really is. And let me tell you, the gunshots were off the chain on our New Year's. Scared me so bad, even I wanted to get down on the floor. But what I realized is this: you can't legislate morality. You can't stop people from shooting their guns. They getting guns all kind of ways. We can only do what we do now, work as a community, as a church, and as a family to really curb it. Birmingham is no more dangerous. The world is dangerous right now. If you turn on national news, you will see that the world is dangerous. But we have to be mindful of one thing: our positions and where we sit as a council. Because we're constantly selling Birmingham. And as Chair of Economic Development, I want the world to know Birmingham is no more dangerous than the rest of the world. But we're, as citizens, it's our responsibility to collaborate among each other and not send the word out that it's the worst place in the world to live, because it's not true. Birmingham is a great place to live. And I have my issues, but I choose to handle them by trying to work with our groups, our organization. And until we as a unit get together and try to solve our problems, we should not air out in public that Birmingham is it's not true. They have issues in Homewood, Mountain Brook, Vestavia, New York, Chicago, Iran, Iraq. If you pull up the news and see what's going on, it's happening all around us. But we must be mindful of how we sell and our responsibilities of who we are when we speak from these microphones and talk in public. I want that to be on everybody's heart, because at the end of the day, we all live in Birmingham. And I, for one, believe this is a great place to be. And we have issues to solve. But we need to sometimes solve them in-house. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Hoyt.
Yes, I can appreciate persons' comments and what have you, but the city needs to take pride in the city. You know, I'm downtown every day. People throw trash, what have you, but we got somebody dedicated to picking up that trash. You know, we got garbage cans. I purchased 5,000, I think we paid about $10,000 for garbage cans, and to try to help curtail some of this. And matter of fact, every one of my neighborhoods have had cleanup days and had them more than once. And so neighborhood folks are doing what they need to do. But the issue is, all you gotta do is go through your district. I mean, I go through District 9 every week, and it look like a war zone over there.
Mr.
So
President,
I don't know
Mr.
what.
President,
Hold on.
Mr. President, I need to
Hold on.
District 9 is a war zone.
I'm just saying.
Hold on.
I'm just saying.
You know,
stick to your own business.
Come on, guys. Hey, come on. Hold on.
Pastor in
Hold on,
Adamsville, I go
Councilor
through-
Hoyt. Hold on, Councilor Hoyt.
Wait.
Hold on. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to move to the consent agenda. All right? Mr. Clerk, call up the consent agenda, please.
Tote your own water.
Consent agenda starts on page 2 with items 1, 2, and 4. That's on page 2. You skip over to page
I'll bring
8.
y'all some pictures.
We have item number 5 on consent. Page 12, items 6, 7 and 8 are on consent. Page 13, items 9, 10, and 11 are on consent. Page 14, we have items 12, 13, and 14 on consent. Page 15, item number 15 is on consent. Page 16, we have items 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23 on consent. Page 17, items 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and 29 are on consent. Please note that on item number 24, the address should actually be 805 42nd Street North. So it's north, 42nd Street North. Page 18, we have items 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35 on consent. Page 19, items 36, 37, 38, and 39 are on consent. Page 20, we have items 40, 41, and 42 on consent. Page 21, we have item number 45 on consent, and you have an addendum item. If you would, note that item is item number 46. We, in a haste to get them out to you, we just left the number blank, so you can go ahead and note that is item number 46. That's addendum item, dealing with resolution 2284-19.
Hold on, we'll go this way. Councilor Williams first.
Thank you, President Parker. On item number 1, we need to have that removed. I think we're going to probably just take it indefinitely off. I think they have some zoning issues.
So you just want to remove item 1?
Yeah, so just remove 1.
Parking issues.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I think they have to go before ZBA.
Is
So
that
it's
all you have?
withdrawn? Withdrawn?
I'm asking Councilor Williams, since he's the sponsor, is that what you want to do, is withdraw it?
Yes, please.
Okay,
Thank
all right. We'll go this way, then we'll come back. Councilor Hilliard, Councilor Woods, you're good? Okay. Dr. Quinn.
Thank you, President Parker. At this time, I'd like to withdraw item number 18.
Okay. All right. Councilor.
Are you going to send that to the committee?
You'll see it come back.
I'm just saying, trying to see, is there going to be a discussion with the council on this issue?
There's discussion ongoing right now in Transportation Committee, so it's in progress, and will eventually come before the council. The issue generally, not necessarily this specifics of what's mentioned here.
Councilor Hort, you have comment back, or you're?
Yeah, well, if we're talking about a franchise agreement, non-exclusive rights to install and operate a micro-mobility system, then I think that's a discussion that the council needs to have, notwithstanding committee deliberations. But I think if we're talking about franchise, then that needs to be a full-fledged, dialogue with the council.
Okay, why don't we ask Councilor Quinn, if the committee meets, then we could have a committee of the whole to discuss it in a work session. Is that?
Sure.
Okay.
Actually, what I'll do is I'll send out an email communicating to everyone the background information and why this was presented in the first place. I'll let you guys know.
All right, we'll make sure, Councilor Hort, that once it goes through the committee, that it comes, and we'll coordinate that to where there's no lapse as far as once the committee meets and the committee of the whole.
That's good.
Okay, if that's amenable to everybody. Councilor Abbott, did you have anything?
Yes, I wanted to add the addendum item number 46 to the consent agenda, since all we're doing is correcting the address of the business.
Okay. Councilor Hort, did you have, or Councilor Smith? Okay. All right, and on item 16, that item, we're going, once we call it, if we could just call it up and send it to committee, and that's dealing with the Civil Rights Museum. So we could just call it up and send it immediately to a committee. So that's all. So anyway, is everybody good?
Okay.
That was Council Williams and Council Woods.
I'm sorry. Give me 1 second, please. Yeah, I know. I didn't have Councilor Williams in. He's in now. All right, voting should be open now.
Are we on item
Oh.
16?
I'm
No,
sorry.
no, we're doing the consent agenda.
Can we,
I was just
get the,
talking through. Yeah, we're just doing the,
public
hold
notice,
on,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
let me read
Consent.
that. No, we were just talking through when it came up, since Councilor Quinn mentioned about 18, I wanted to go ahead and mention 16 so we could move swiftly through. That was all. But anyway, all items designated as consent are routine and non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. No separate discussion of these items will be permitted unless a council member, the mayor, or citizen interested in public hearing so request. If so, such items will revert to its normal place on the agenda order of business. All matters of permanent operation will be read. All other matters will be announced by reading the item number only. All public hearings will be announced. So now I think we're ready to vote on the consent agenda.
All right, voting should be open. Council President Parker,
Yes.
that vote should be.
Okay, all right, that item, consent agenda passes. Mr. Clerk?
All right, item number 1, it's been requested to be withdrawn. Next should be item number 3, a resolution relative to the application of Joseph Pettis for a junk dealer's permit to be used at Raven Express Incorporated, 7570 Highway 78, Suite 1, Dora, Alabama, and the hearing of arguments and questions. Motion, please.
Move the item.
Second.
Council Williams and Council Smithman. Council Williams?
President Parker, I've been informed by the law department that they're requesting a 2-week delay on this item for some pending legal issues. So,
You gonna make the motion?
yeah, motion for 2-week delay.
Second.
All right, it was Council Williams and President Pro Tem Alexander. Councilor Abbott, you?
Well, I had a question that I just want to make sure gets answered when the law department does their thing, and that is, why are we giving a junk dealer's permit to someone in Dora, Alabama? Wouldn't it be a location in Birmingham, Alabama, if we're giving them a permit?
The location's in Birmingham. The
Well,
mailing.
why is that not on here? Because this says Dora, Alabama. I mean, where is the junk deal? I mean, so that'll be provided to us as soon as you get through with
That's
your...
part of the 2-week delay.
Yeah,
We're trying to
okay,
make
good,
sure.
because it was just a little confusing to me.
If I could add
Yes, sir.
some clarity, there are a lot.
Is it working?
Thank
Come on
you.
down
Okay,
here.
it's
You
coming
can
on.
use this one now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Council, here you turn my mic on.
Come on. Hey, hold on. All right, now that I apologize, Mr.
Okay,
All right,
I apologize.
Okay, that was wrong. Okay.
I know about
All right.
itinerant junk dealers, but
All
this
right.
didn't say itinerant.
Okay,
This
okay.
says junk dealer.
Junk dealer. Well, I was going to say that a lot of them do come from other areas, but if they come in Birmingham, they got to have this license. That's pretty much, they might be stationary somewhere else, but they got to have a license to come in here if they're going to take stuff back to their prospective cities or places and what have you. So that's typically what's been the normal operations or so.
All right, so I made a motion for a 2-week delay.
And I second it.
Okay.
Voting should be. President Parker,
Yes.
that vote should be up.
Okay, yeah, that item passes. Next item.
I think we're going to 16. Item number 16.
Yeah, I move we refer this item to the committee of the
Well,
whole.
he's got to read it.
You wanna read it?
It's an item of permanent operation, an ordinance to amend ordinance number 82-73 by changing the election process of the Birmingham Civil Rights and Museum Board of Directors by limiting the selection and appointment process to the sole authority of the Birmingham City Council and expanding the Board of Directors to 29 members. And this is the first reading.
Thought we were gonna send it.
Yeah,
To refer this
he had to
item
call
to
it up.
committee of the whole.
And I'll second
We
that.
just need a motion on the item, get it before we, and we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, that's Council Woods and President Parker. And Council Woods is gonna make, yeah, but you've been recognized again to refer.
Yes, sir. I'd like to move to refer this item to committee of the whole.
Second. That's Council Woods and President Parker.
Okay. Committee of the Whole. Voting should be open now.
Mr. President, before you carry this item, would we also include the executive director and maybe some of the board members?
Yes,
So
sir.
they
We're
could-
going to include, we're going to have a discussion about the
Okay.
future as it relates to the management agreement. There are a lot of things that need to be discussed, what their plan is, what they're doing, you know, all those different things. So, yeah, we will make sure we coordinate that.
Okay, very good.
Yes, sir.
That vote should be up.
All right. Is this the one? Okay. That item passes. Next item.
Should be on 17. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a quick claim deed to Hobart A. King upon receipt of payment in the amount of $3,490.30 for the sale of property legally described as Lot 10, Block 9, Woodlawn Realty Company, 4th edition, is recorded in Map Book 7, page 96, in the probate office of Jefferson County. The physical address being 613 59th Street South, Birmingham, which was acquired by the city upon foreclosure of municipal improvement liens in accordance with Section 3-1-4, the General Code of the City of Birmingham. Item of permanent operation as well. I need UC first to pass today.
I move for unanimous consent.
I second it. That's
Parker.
Councilor Abbott and President Parker.
All right, voting should be open for UC.
I vote aye.
Councilmember Hoy, Councilmember Williams, out. Councilmember Hoy.
Yes.
That vote should be
Okay,
open for UC.
that item passes.
I need a motion.
Oh,
on
okay.
that.
I'm sorry.
I move approval.
Second.
All right. And voting should be open now. Council President Parker.
Aye. Okay.
Councilmember Hoy. All right, that
Okay.
vote should be
That item passes. Next item.
18 has been requested to be withdrawn, item number 18. And so I guess we're at 43, which is actually on page 20. A resolution setting a public hearing February the 4th, 2020 to consider the adoption of an ordinance to amend the zoning district map of the city of Birmingham, case number ZAC 2019-26, to change zone district boundaries from R4 two-family and semi-attached dwelling district and R5 multiple dwelling district, filed D5 multiple dwelling district, in order to construct a cottage and townhouse development filed by Dynamic Civil Solutions, representing the owner, WF Real Property Resources LLC, for properties located at 5984 Georgia Road, 6004 Georgia Road, 6012 Georgia Road, 221st Street South, and 216 61st Street South, and situated in the northeast quarter of Section 21, Township 17 South, Range 2, West Birmingham.
Move the item.
Second.
Councilor Quinn and Councilor Abbott.
Voting should be open now. Council President Parker.
Aye. All right, that item passes.
All right, it should be 44. A resolution setting a public hearing February the 4th, 2020, to consider the adoption of an ordinance to amend the zoning district map of the city of Birmingham, case number ZAC 2019-35, to to change zone district boundaries from QC1, Qualified Neighborhood Commercial District, to QC1, Qualified Neighborhood Commercial District, and thereby amending the Q conditions of case number ZAC 2017-3, ordinance number 1983-G, to modify the 30-foot planted or natural buffer on the south side of site to a 10-foot planted or natural buffer. Filed by Brent Pierce, representing the owner, America's First Federal Credit Union, for the property located at 724 Crow Drive and situated in the northeast quarter of Section 36, Township 16, South Range 2 West, Birmingham.
Move the item.
Second.
Okay, voting should be open for this item as well. Council President Parker. Councilmember Hilliard. Councilmember Williams is absent. That vote should be up.
All right, that item passes.
So we're old to new speakers.
Okay, we need a motion to suspend the rules.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Looks like Ms. Carboni. Eileen Carboni. Ms. Carboni.
Good morning. I apologize. I didn't hear you. When you get 86 and a half, sometimes you don't get everything that's said.
Good morning.
So I apologize.
Good
To the
morning.
mayor, we'd like to express our sympathy in behalf of the Bellevue Heights Neighborhood Association. I'm coming to you this morning because of an incident that happened Saturday night that we're very, very concerned about. This is something that has got to be remedied. We cannot continue to tolerate this kind of situation. And yes, Councilor Hilliard, Birmingham is a beautiful, wonderful place to live in. But we've got so many problems here. We've got more problems than we've ever had in my 86 and a half years. We've got to do something about it. We can do something about it. I am confident we can do something about it. But we've got to get our priorities straight. What happened, I left home about 10 minutes to 5 Saturday night, going over to Nicky's West. I live in Bellevue Heights. Going down interstate, when I started to exit at the Arkadelphia exit, just as I got to it, there's a car sitting in the center of the exit of going up to Arkadelphia Road. A lady standing out there by herself. There were no lights on the car at all. It was dark as it could be. I think it was a black car. She's an elderly lady standing there by the car. She runs over to my car and says, "I need you to push me to the side of the road." I said, "Honey, I can't do that." But I said, "You get out of the street, and I promise you I'll get you some help. I'll call the police." So I pulled over to the left of that exit, between that exit and the freeway, which was dangerous, but it was a grassy area, and I pulled over to there and immediately called 911 and told them it was an emergency and told them what it was, that we needed some help. There was no lights on the car. The lady was out in the road and all of that, and they didn't come. Then I called back again, and they said, "Well, we'll tell it again. We'll get somebody out there." They still didn't come. About that time, I got out of my car, and I told my daughter, I said, I'm getting out. She said, "Mother, please don't get out. You're going to get killed." And she said, "What's going to happen to me?" She's almost an invalid now. And I said, "Laura, I have to get out. I cannot leave this lady on the side of the road by herself out here in the dark. We can't do that." I said, "If I get killed, okay. It was for a good cause, but I can't do that." So I got back. In the meantime, Laura starts calling. And she called the sheriff's department. And I called back and I called the West Precinct. And they said, okay. And they'll try to get somebody over there. Nobody came. We're still sitting out there 25 minutes later. Nobody had come. Finally, a car came by and exited on the Arkadelphia beside the lady and pulled over to the right. And it was a young man and a young lady. He got out of the car and came to her car. And of course, it was too dangerous for me to even cross over by her car, but obviously she had no light, no flashlight, no telephone or anything. And so I got out of my car, and I'd been standing there. I looked for something white to hold up for a flag, and I couldn't find anything, but I had a jacket in the back of my car, so I stood and I had my flasher lights on. So I stood there holding that coat up for almost 30 minutes to keep people from hitting her and hitting me. It was so dangerous, and it was going to be a horrible, horrible wreck. And when those trucks came between our cars, you could feel the whole area just shaking with those big old trucks coming to get off on Arkadelphia, also to go on to 78 Highway. My daughter was sitting in the car. She kept calling people, and she called the state troopers. And finally, about 35 minutes later, a car drove up behind and stopped on the right of the freeway. And he did have 2 blue lights on the back. It was, I think, a black car. There were 2 blue lights on it. I couldn't tell. He got out of the car. He didn't look like he was dressed as a policeman or anything. I couldn't tell that either. But I knew that by that time, surely they were in good hands. So we finally went on, because I knew that I was really a danger to the public sitting where I was as well as to her. So I knew she was in good hands with the young man and lady, and with this guy, whoever he was. So when I got back home, I had gone over to Nicky's to eat. When I got back home, I called West Precinct. I talked to a sergeant there, and he said, Miss Carboni, I understand your situation, but we had 2 people shot in Forestdale, and then after that, we had a person shot on the other side of the precinct, which is probably toward West End or in that general direction. He said, we don't have but 6 people on duty. And I said, 6 people on duty in West Precinct? And he said, that's all we've got on duty. Now, this is the largest precinct in the city of Birmingham. And this is an emergency. It's not just a call because I want to talk to somebody. It is an emergency. How would you feel if that had been your mother or your wife or your daughter out there by herself at night? 6 people. Now, we can't do that. We've got to get our priorities straight around here. And that begins with the council, because you're the ones that give out the money. You're the ones that tell them what they can spend. Now, I'm to the point, I don't care if we have to close the library 1 day a week, if we have to cut out garbage service to 1 time a week, or we got to quit fixing roads or sidewalks or whatever. But priority, our safety is priority number 1, and we've got to do better than what we're doing.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I'm Eileen Carboni, and I'm just a citizen of Bellevue Heights, but I've been there over 40 years, and I will tell you, I'm not a novice at this. I've been president of Bellevue Heights neighborhood. I was at one time president or vice president for 15 years. I've been president of the 5 Points West Community Center. I've been chairman of the Birmingham Beautification Board, and I've been on every committee this city has ever had for the last 40 years during that period of time. So I'm not a novice to this, but we've got to do something about it. We are at the bottom of the totem pole now in getting things done in Birmingham. We're not a good city anymore. We can't brag anymore.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
This is Johnny Gunn, who is our vice president.
I understand, but hold on. So, because this is going to... Councilor Hoyt, I think you're being recognized. So let me recognize Councilor Hoyt.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Ms. Carboni, for coming, and Mr. Gunn and others. This is what we need to hear from ordinary citizens. We're living it. And I don't care how we can do a dog and pony show. The issue is Birmingham has to do better.
That's right.
And you drive through Bellevue Heights, you drive through District 8. District 8 is nasty. It is. And just because you say it ain't, well, I'm going to start driving through and taking pictures and bringing down here, making presentations in folks' districts, including mine, and let you know that this city is nasty. It's unimaginable that we hadn't had a street sweeper. But to talk about people throwing trash, well, guess what? If you don't clean it up, that's what people are going to feel, that it's a trashy neighborhood. Just throw your trash. You know?
Councilor Howard.
Okay, ma'am,
Well, let me just
hold on.
see it.
Okay, I'm letting the council court speak.
I
Yes,
spend
sir.
an enormous amount of money on maintaining my my yard, my curbs and all. But I got neighbors who don't pick up their leaves. So I have to pay extra, matter of fact, at least $300 more than I normally pay because they hadn't picked up their leaves at all. And generally, I would have had the streets people to come through and help me out with some of that. But I'm having to clean up my leaves, everybody else's leaves, and it's not fair. It's not fair. You know, all you got to do is ride through. You know, I mean, you know, we got folks who are charged with directing workers and what have you. You know, I ain't making this stuff up, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat nothing. You know, I got elected from my district. I'm an advocate for my district, and but this is a good example here. I didn't talk to you about coming here today, you know, and you're here, but you got some of the same concerns I have.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move on to the next speaker. If you want to come back, we can suspend the rules if you want to come back and speak, if that's okay, because we have to be fair to all the others who've already.
Quick statement, if I can.
Sir?
I'd just like to make a quick statement.
Yes, sir.
Ask a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm Johnny Gunn, President, Bellevue Heights. We was talking about public safety, and my concern is, or my question is whether or not Birmingham Police also has jurisdiction on the interstate or right off the interstate, because this is where this incident took place. Never could get a Birmingham police officer there, but there was somebody from the state. So my question is, does Birmingham PD have jurisdiction on the interstate or right off the interstate?
I can answer that, yes, they do.
Okay, let's get, ma'am, let's get it from.
So that would be my question, and if somebody can get an answer to me in some kind of way, if it's the police chief or
Okay.
the mayor or whoever.
All right, so what we'll do is we'll ask the chief, not the chief of police, but the Chief Sparks to look into that and communicate back with you on that.
Right.
Yes,
I just think we need to get a handle on the
Yes,
public
sir.
safety part.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, yes, sir. Okay.
Excuse me,
But
this is Joel Best, and he needs to be recognized. He is our Rock Watch chairman.
I understand, but we have other speakers that, how you doing? Thank you for coming out.
What's best?
All right, next speaker.
That said, Harsha Hattie.
Mr. Clerk,
Miss Hattie?
they're going to be removed.
Okay. Candace, I'm guessing that's Hardy? Is it Candace Hardy? Okay, Gilbert Klein.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year's to you.
Yes, sir.
To the office of the mayor, council president, and council members, Happy New Year's to all. Years ago, people would always say, cleanliness next to godliness. I was raised by this motto. Today, I come before this city government to plead that you would or will pick up the rubbish and trash out of the alleys and streets of Inslee Highland, off Warrior Road, and Avenue R, where the rubbish truck has not picked up in 2 months, going on 3 months. This is not acceptable. I don't come down here much these days, but I am compelled to come here today because I feel that if I don't come down here, the rubbish and trash may never get picked up. I will be back here every time that I can until the rubbish in our alleys is removed from our communities on the west side of town. In my mind, it seems that services that the community had been receiving from past administrations, that's with an S, has declined. This council voted against the will of the people to put $90 million plus in a football stadium. $90 million plus in a football stadium. Is this the return on investment that the community must pay? Must we live in filth, trash, and debris, creating rats, rodents, snakes, and pests? Tell me now. Tell me now. It is disheartening when you do all you can to keep your neighborhood up. Yeah, I'm one of those that go around picking up trash, Brother Hoyt, cleaning up the leaves out of my neighbor's yard when they don't do it. And the city won't keep up its end of the bargain. Please pick up the filth and trash out of the alleys in a timely manner. It can be done. Previous administrations with an S did it. I have called 311 over and over again in the last 2 months, only to be told that everyone else is calling for the same complaints. Throughout the city, they tell me over and over again that they will refer my complaint. I am here today to refer my complaint to this administration in person. Do you want the city to be ranked in the top 10 filthiest cities in America? Then you think somebody did you wrong. What are you going to do about it? Filth in the alleyways piled up, and mind you, I must say, Brother Hoyt, they have it piled up neatly, waiting on the city. Finally, it is a civic crime that this administration is robbing the taxpayer and citizens of their public services.
Thank you, Mr. Klein.
James
Mr.
King.
Clerk, next speaker.
James King, 3554 Church Street. Reflecting back, y'all kind of touched nerves here this morning. I want to say, when you talk about theft and violence and everything, I pulled in at a service station and you guys are loitering around the station and everything. Went in there and got me some gas and left my keys in the switch. And as I was coming out the door, the lady hollered, "Somebody's just stealing your truck." I said, "Stealing my truck?" So he jumped in the truck and he was trying to start it, but he couldn't drive a stick shift. That's the wrong thing to do with a person like me. And as I grabbed him and commenced to go upside his head, he jumped out of the other side, opened the door and ran out, knocked the car out of gear, started rolling back. I had to let him go or let my truck crash into something else. So I let him go with them baggy pants and he went running off. It was startling that it can happen just that quick, that crime can happen to you just like that. I wasn't expecting that. But also, I'm not expecting a lot of things. The homicide rate, what is it? What is it? 107, got 107, 97, and somebody said 117.
13.
Well, 113, thank you very much. 113. But whatever that case is, understand our goal is not to be the most dangerous city in America in the top 10. And our goal is probably bring that in half and bring it even further. This city deserves better than what it's getting. As it approaches election year, I hope everybody can be, but I'm somewhat disappointed in my neighborhood. And I'm disappointed that the last time the representative came down to my neighborhood, they came down here to stop somebody from going into business. My councilman didn't even do any background check to find out this was about a personal grudge. That's all it was. You stop somebody going to business, they supposed to be neighborhood president, they don't do nothing. And part of this problem lies in the neighborhood. The incompetence, the fraud, they just get there to have a damn position and do nothing. My neighborhood just as worse as it was before because of fraud, because of phony, because of petty jealousy, and because of classism. It's horrible what goes on. But this year, I promise you, the whole last election of neighborhoods, y'all need to do away with them because they're failing us miserably. And I know I say to my councilmen that you got to do a better job. I got to go to the county and ask them to pave the sidewalks off of 10 Mill Road and put lights up. I got to go to Hueytown and ask them to join in with us to pave it because of a police officer that died on that road. and not even a marker was put up for him years ago. And that's just a shame. The man died in line of doing it. Right there on that road. It's still just as dark as it has been. And it consistently failing us because we have people hurry up to get into office and don't do nothing. They need to start, y'all need to start making them come down here to this council meeting. Just to come down here to put up, to shut somebody down, to stop progress in the community. That's the only time you're going to, because of little personal little damn grudges.
Cedric Hatcher.
Good morning. My name is Cedric Hatcher, to the mayor's office. Good morning. Mayor, first of all, I want to say you sitting back there, I'm sorry to hear about your mother's husband, man. My prayers deeply goes out to you. My condolences as well. Hey, y'all want to talk about a subject for a minute, from the hills to the hood. About 2-3 days ago, we had a prayer thing, whatever they was doing up there on top of Vulcan Park, somewhere I think up there on the top of the hill. They were praying. I'm all for praying. I think I'm here now because there are heavenly angels and earthly angels that pray for Brother Said. Throughout the years I've been out here in these streets and stuff that I've been through in my life, somebody been praying for me. I'm all for that. But ain't nobody got shot up at the Vulcan Park. Ain't nobody got shot at the Vulcan Park. Ain't Cupcake didn't get killed at Vulcan Park. Little Johnny didn't get killed up there at Vulcan Park. TJ didn't get killed up there. Now whoever came up with that, let's go up here and look at the city and pray. You know what I mean? Let's leave the hill and go to the hood where the stuff going on at. Now, I want to say this to Bro Randall, and I love Randall, but I say this to Bill, I say it to Langford, and Sister Abby been here a good little while. She know, Bro said anybody, because I ain't bought. I might have been sold out, but I ain't bought out yet. No, I ain't bought out. Let me tell you, Randall had lost 2 family members, so I think it's a disgrace for Randall to be right here talking about some crime down. Randall himself had lost 2 family members due to gun violence. This little billboard them sitting up in all that stuff. Y'all need to take that stuff and put it in the garbage can. That's what y'all need to do with them billboards. Because what would you say to a parent whose son been killed, the killer ain't been caught yet? Let me step on that for a minute. Y'all know why a lot of killers ain't caught and they repeat offenders? Because it's black folks killing black folks. How about shot condemnable bullshit? Because it's black folks killing black folks, y'all. That's why they let them back out. About 2 weeks ago, a man was out and already killed 2 folk. He was back on the street again. Already killed 2 folk. What he was doing on the street? Because we let him back out. We let him back out. Y'all, let me tell you the answer to this, Sister Abby. You asked, what can the public do? Would you talk to a stranger, Sister Abby?
Yeah.
Would you talk to a stranger? Well, let me tell you how I go in the hood. Ain't nobody finna talk to no police in no hood they don't know. If the only time they see the police is when they're arresting somebody and doing a roadblock, I wouldn't talk to them either. I tell police all the time, you got to go build a relationship with folks. That's why you ain't get no information. Because the only time they see you, you putting their handcuffs on somebody. And we got to stop that and build a relationship. The church got to build a relationship. That ain't no relationship going up on no Vulcan Park. And we meet up, but somebody got killed right across from your church. You wouldn't go over there and comfort them. Now, I was at Journey festivities. I was at TJ festivities. I was at Cupcake festivities and so many other little kids around here. I didn't see none of them folks. But when they gave us that little change downstairs, it was about 20-some folks in front of them cameras. Where they at now? Where they at now? Where now, y'all? What the folks said today? Talking about stop the violence. I ain't gonna call no name. I've been coming up here for a little while now. All them folks y'all saw standing up talking about stop the violence. Once they got that money, they disappeared. Once they got the money, they disappeared. What happened to your heart and your motive? You want to stop some violence. You want to stop no violence. You want to get around these politicians and play and get some money. That's all you wanted to do, and you watered down because your heart wasn't right. You know what I mean? That's a prayer. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be accepted by God. That's all I want. I want to hear well done. No, I done had some money. I done had some money. That money ain't gonna last long. I want to tell Randall some of them suckers around you. As soon as it's over with, they gonna be gone. Right now, they agree with anything you say. As a council, y'all, and a mayor, don't say that to no family about no violence down. Don't say that, y'all. Just day before yesterday, a young man got killed in Kingston. A young man got shot in Southtown last night. A woman got shot Sunday night. And we're up here talking some violence down in Birmingham, y'all. Y'all need to stop saying that. That's a disgrace. Hunter, in my closing, you is Hunter or you Dad Quinn? Which one you is?
Yo, Quinn.
That's Hunter. Let me tell you, I ain't gonna say all y'all look alike. Somebody told you it was a good idea for you to get in front of the camera not too long ago and talk about the violence in the black community. That was the wrong idea for you to do. Williams, that was wrong for you to do that. You shouldn't be the one to do that. I saw it. I was looking at it on the news. Let me get through first, then you coming. I was looking at it on the news. When you were talking about some violence in my community, you can't relate to my community. You can't relate to my community, and they got you in front of a camera talking about this, why they killing each other. You don't have the right to tell my brother why they killing each other. You were doing that for politics. That's why you were doing that, for political reasons. Let me tell you, if y'all really want somebody to go out there and get in front of the camera, go find Sheila Tyson. Go there and get Sheila. She'll tell you why they killing. Because I done seen Sheila at dope houses. I done seen on the block and everything. But to put that young man right there in front of the camera, talking about why they killing the black community, that was a wrong idea.
Brother said, direct all that.
That was a bad idea. That was a bad idea. Y'all, we gotta stop this politics game.
Okay.
Y'all wanna get cool with all y'all sometime. I know y'all give me a little lunch money here and there sometime. But that ain't gonna buy bro said.
Okay. But wrap it up.
That ain't gonna buy bro said. I know you want me to wrap it up, but that little short lady was up here a few minutes ago. You let her talk 20 minutes.
And I let you talk way more than that.
You let her talk 20 minutes. She went on and on and on.
I did not.
And that bro said, your time up. You gotta stop talking. Ain't that something? Now, I love y'all, man, the city council and all that kind of stuff. I want to stay your friend, but I'm not finna sell my soul and lie. No, I done dealt with too many families, y'all. In my clothes, I'm closing. Let me tell y'all something. I experienced one time. Young man was killed over there on Tuscaloosa Avenue a few years ago. I was the first one on the scene. His mom was out there with all that blood all over her shirt crying. I hugged his mama. I said, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. We were praying, me and the mama. I got home, blood was all over my clothes. Blood was all over my clothes, y'all. I said, God, how did this blood get on my clothes? He said, God, bro said you reached out and touched her because you were touched. You were touched with the infirmity and with our pain. If we ain't got no relationship with folks, y'all, all this other stuff we doing ain't gonna do nothing. Only what we do for God gonna last. You can gain all the money in the world. What good it do to gain the whole world and lose your soul?
Okay.
This just a season we going through, y'all. We here today, gone tomorrow. Don't let this stuff go to y'all mind and brainwash y'all this politics stuff. Be real, because you were real when you were campaigning. I'm through. Oh, you want to say something? Hold on back. I don't want from nobody. You want to say something to me?
I wasn't, but I'm happy to say something to you. Sir, with all due respect, I care about victims of crime regardless of what color they are. So, as someone that chairs public safety, if someone is killed in this city, whether they're white, black, male, female, rich, poor, whatever they look like, however they dress, I care about it. So, I will not stay in my lane. I will continue to care about every victim of violence, regardless of race, color, or any other discernible thing that you can put on that person. And I feel a lot of what you said. I think you made a lot of good points, but I want you to understand that it would be horribly negligent for me as the chair of public safety not to care about victims of violence based on any kind of factor. So I care about every victim of violence. Thanks, man. Hey, I understand where you're coming from. We're on more the same page than you know, and I appreciate you very much.
Have you ever lived in Gate City, Bahama? Have you ever stayed in Little Village Inns?
Man.
So how you really know what's going on?
You couldn't tell me and Deerloop went apart.
You ain't never stayed in that one community.
So,
you could have got one of them
course
folks
I
to do
haven't
that for
stayed
you.
in Gate
You could have said, man, you talk to the folks. I ain't got nothing to talk to
Thank
the
you,
folks.
sir.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, next speaker. Mr. Clerk.
Ms. Thompson.
Good afternoon.
Hey,
My name is
how you
Olivia
doing? Happy
Thompson.
New Year to you.
Happy New Year's. I live at 824 11th Street Southwest, Birmingham. First, the city is nasty. This is not my first time coming down here. And the people in the neighborhood are not always throwing the trash down in the neighborhood, because you got people now coming dropping debris, furniture, clothes, and everything in our neighborhood. And they're even taking their tags off their truck, so you cannot get their tag number, because I see this. And it's not just in District 8, it's in District 6, it's in District 9, it's over there in some District 4. I go and ride around the city, so I know what I'm talking about. I take pictures of the trash and the debris in the neighborhoods. And it ain't the people just all living in the neighborhood throwing it down. I get up in the morning, I go and pick up trash. People ride down in their cars and throw stuff out their cars in our neighborhood, but they're not gonna go in other areas and throw it because they're scared of the law in Homewood, West Haven, Hoover. They're not gonna throw the trash. They come in our neighborhood and throw stuff in our neighborhood, dumping that debris. And then I came down to talk about the parking. You took the parking lot over there and gave it to the city employees. Now when we come to city council meeting, the mayor made it fix so we have to park to come out to parking that we can't get our ticket stamped no more. I talked to one of the newsmen, Alan Collins, said, well, the mayor said wait till they trying to put the information inside the computer so we won't have to pay when we come to city council meeting on Tuesday. Well, some of the workers down in the city council chamber said, no, y'all gonna have to pay if you're coming down here for city council chamber. If you come for city council meeting, you're gonna have to pay. We don't have parking lots on the street. We can't park over there and pay in there. We have to go in that deck and pay because you know took our parking spots, and we have to pay to come out. And I think that's trying to stop the citizens from coming down here to city council meeting to speak. I don't think that's fair for us. And then I go and over there by Hemphill School, I complained to the senator. I told our city council, it's not her fault. The gas truck, they speed up down 12th Street in front of Hemphill School where our babies go to school at. If the truck turn over something and something explode, it's gonna be too late. I'm sorry, that's not gonna help our babies. I go and take pictures. The gas trucks are passing down there, going down Cotton Avenue, going down 12th Street, and when they're coming back from out of the west side, they go down Denison, go up to Martin Luther King turn, go down there to 6th Avenue and get on the interstate. Where they stopped them from coming down in the housing off Green Springs Avenue, they stopped those gas trucks from coming down that way because the houses, the people couldn't get out. But by our children, babies, pre-K through 5th grade, go to school at Hemphill. The gas trucks don't have no respect for our children. They fly up and down there. I take videos. I take pictures. And I see it. I done complained before. I done came down here and complained before. We need to stop this. We need the government body, the mayor. I know you can have somebody that'll give them tickets or stop it. Enforce the law. Because I don't want nothing to happen to my babies up there. I don't want nothing to happen. You say, do I have any children go up there? All of my babies. I love all the children. I love all of you. I love the people in the city because you cannot love Jesus if you don't love the people. And I love God and I love all y'all, but I expect better. And I expect our government body, our mayor, to do better in this city. This city is nastier than ever been. Thank you.
Willie Jenkins.
I think he went outside.
Curtis Robinson.
Oh, here he comes. Good morning, Mr. Jenkins. Take your time. Take your time.
Happy New Year, everybody.
All right.
Happy New Year, and William Park. I just still let you know that my pastor is doing a retirement second Sunday in March, and I also have a retirement and anniversary. And everything was real nice. The Christmas thing, every night, my birthday, everybody had. I had a wonderful time. And just want to let you know I have some letters with it. Maybe have some letters for you, Mr. Parker, from District 4 of Cartersville, funeral pass. And I just want to let you know that we had a wonderful time, and also I'm looking forward for Reverend Connor, his anniversary second Sunday, and then he's gonna have retirement and coming up pretty soon. And let everybody know all District 4 had a nice Christmas celebration. I did. I went out to celebrate my birthday. Went out, went out to celebrate my birthday, and God blessed me. And I just want to say, still pray for the little boy the little boy got killed in Cartersville. And I did get to that letter in, Mr. Parker, the family got it. And I just want to say, the happy anniversary, happy New Year for all the city council member, and God continue to bless you. And I just want to say, hold on to God and change that. Miss Arizona, they want you to tell you that God bless you too. I'm glad you won your praying, and God bless you. And Mr. John Hill, I just want to say, Chief John still need his letter. He want, his letter, his letter. His heart. You know what I'm saying? I did go to the funeral, but it was real rough for Chief Johnny Johnson. But I just told him, you have my prayers, and I was with him, that day, because he sang with us a mental prayer. We're going to crank back up, Mr. Horton. We're going to crank back up in February. The mental prayer going to crank back up, and want all of y'all to come see the mental praise, including the mayor, and we get ready to crank back up sometime in February. And that's all I would like to say. And to my family, happy New Year to everybody, District 4, Cartersville, and everybody, and also my family, Leonard Jenkins and Shannon West, all of them. With like my whole family, and Anthony and Shannon, and West and Anthony, all my whole family. Happy New Year, and God continue to bless with everybody. Happy New Year, and God bless everybody.
All right, thank you,
Yes, well, Mr. Jenkins, you know, I got a church anniversary coming up, 120 years. I sure like to have the men of praise come out there and give us one or two, so they can go.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you put them in contact with me?
Yeah, I sure will, Mr.
Okay, all
Yes,
right,
Lord,
that'll
I sure
work.
will do that.
Yeah.
I praise you. I sure
All
will
right,
do that.
appreciate what you're doing.
Okay, all right.
All right, always.
All right.
Thank you. Okay. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Fine. Happy New Year to you.
All right. I, Curtis Robinson, 1600 Warrior Road, Birmingham, Alabama. I want to wish all of you a Happy New Year, and especially to the counselors. I hope this year is replete with all the fulfillment of all of your dreams and aspirations. Okay? Now let's get to the business. The community addressing school issues, working with several partners, one of which is Representative Mary Moore, is sponsoring a town hall meeting at Parker High School on January the 15th, time 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. As I understand it, all of you have an invitation. I might not be correct on that, but it is my understanding that you have an invitation, and we expect you to be there. We're going to do a military-type roll call, identifying citizens for each district, and we certainly would hope that each counselor would meet that roll call or have a representative from your staff to be there. I think it was going to be an informative, challenging time. Information, once again, as we've been talking about, hearing from the people, the grassroots neighborhood people concerning education here in Birmingham. Thank you for your time. I'll be looking to see you on the 15th. All right? God bless y'all.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. We're going to go, Councilor Woods. Have any announcements, sir?
Thank you, Mr. President. A few announcements. Bridlewood and Apple Valley neighborhood meetings are canceled tonight. Sorry about that. They will not meet tonight. Fitness classes, we've got Fitness First still going on Tuesday and Thursday morning at 6 a.m. at Calvary Resurrection Christian Church. We've got one of the top trainers in the city out working with residents, and that's a free class. And like I said, many people had resolutions coming off the new year and definitely want to invite you out to participate. Also, District 1 will be having a quarterly meeting on Saturday, January 11th at 10 a.m. If you're interested in attending that, please call our office. That phone number is 254-2349. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Okay, we have the Westchester Neighborhood Meeting will be tonight at 6 o'clock p.m. at Gaines Chapel. The Wylam Neighborhood Meeting will meet tonight at 6 p.m. And thank you, District 9 time. Thank you, Councilman President.
All right. Councilor Williams.
Yes, sir. Today, Public Safety Committee will be meeting at 3:30 in these chambers. Overhood Neighborhood Association will be meeting at Macedonia Baptist Church at 6 o'clock today. And Eastwood Neighborhood Association will be meeting at the Eastwood Public Library this Thursday, the 9th at 6:30 p.m. Roebuck Neighborhood Association has moved their normally scheduled meeting to January the 16th at 7 p.m. and Roebuck Neighborhood Association will be meeting at Don Hawkins on the 13th at 6 p.m. That is all we have. Thank you.
Dr. Quinn.
Thank you, President Parker. We have several neighborhood meetings this week. Tonight we have Forest Park, South Avondale, and also the East Lake Neighborhood Association. On Thursday, the Smithfield Neighborhood Association meets at 6 p.m. at the Bethel House. And on Monday, January 13th, Gate City Neighborhood meets at 11 a.m. at Mount Moriah Baptist Church. And Oak Ridge Park Neighborhood Association meets at 7 p.m. at New Community Baptist Church. That concludes my announcements.
Councilor Adler.
Thank you. Wanted to remind everybody that the World Games are coming to Birmingham. Don't want anybody to forget about that. I hope everybody had a very happy New Year. I know the Cincinnati Bearcats had a good New Year because they just beat the heck out of Boston College at the Birmingham Bowl. And I'm sorry it rained, but it was a good game anyway. The next Budget and Finance meeting will be held on Monday, January 13th at 3:30 p.m. in conference rooms D and E. Agenda submissions are due tomorrow by noon. And everybody's had 3 weeks to get all of their act together for Budget and Finance, so I hope we don't have anyone turning in their submissions late. On tonight, we have the Forest Park South Avondale Neighborhood Meeting at the Avondale Library. It is at 6:30. The East Avondale Neighborhood Meeting, which would have been scheduled for next Tuesday, has been canceled, so no January meeting for East Avondale. And that is the end of my announcements. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am. Councilor Smithman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today, we will have 2 neighborhood meetings. Oakwood Place will meet at Harrison Park at 4 p.m. and Mason City will meet at Henry Crompton Recreation Center at 4:30 p.m. I only have one announcement. PIC meeting is canceled today. We may have to call a special call meeting. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. Councilor Hort.
Yes, Mr. President, thank you for your leadership today. Certainly don't want to offend anybody advertently. But I do come to speak truth to power. That's my task, and I don't mind it when it's spoken to me. Judge Pearson said, "You don't stop folk when they come down here and praise you, so you shouldn't stop them when they come in here and making constructive criticism as to what's going on in this city." But anyway, the Fairview Neighborhood Association, this is January the 7th. The Fairview Neighborhood Association at Sardis Baptist Church will begin at 5:30. The Thomas Neighborhood also meets on the same night at 6:30 at the Mount Hebron Baptist Church. Thursday, January the 9th, the Central Park community will meet at the 5 Points West Library at 6 o'clock. Those are my announcements. Just want to say happy New Year to all of you, to the mayor in his absence, to the chief of staff, and others, department heads, and all. Want to say happy New Year, and I'm praying that this year's a better year than what we've experienced last year. I just believe that we have to, have a different result that we've had in the previous year, and so, Mr. President. And that goes with your leadership and all. I mean, I just think we look forward to a new era in city government, one that works together, not necessarily dealing in silos. I think that's where we get divided. And I'm like Brother said, ain't nothing you can give me, ain't nothing you can do for me. I just want you to do it for the citizens, okay? Because one thing about it, the administration don't have a separate citizen than we do. As individual council, we got the same citizen, and we want the same results that we see that's happening in other places. So I want to say that I do want to offer, ask you all to pray for a friend of mine and fraternity brother, Reverend Desi Echoes, who I understand his condition is weakening. And of course he has heart issues, and so I just ask that you all just in your prayer time would call his name, Desi Echoes, Reverend Desi Echoes, one of our outstanding presiding elders and ministers in the CME Church. And so I just want to thank Dr. Robinson for bringing that to our attention. He is a man of alpha, but a great man, and so I think he could benefit from these prayers. And so in your prayer time, if you all consider him Desi Eccles. Okay, he's a native son of Birmingham. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. President Pro Tem Alexander.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a few announcements from District 7. We do have several neighborhood meetings this week. The Oakwood Place neighborhood meeting will be held at 4 p.m. at Harrison Park. The Roosevelt City neighborhood meeting will be held on Thursday at 11 a.m. at the Roosevelt Community Center. And the Central Park neighborhood meeting will be held at 5 Points West Library Thursday at 6 p.m. I do believe all of us received invitations on Wednesday. There will be the Youth Leadership Forum. It's an annual Government Day luncheon that they hold with elected officials, and that's at the Alabama Power Metro Service Center, and that's Wednesday at noon. District 7 will be honored to host our first quarterly Coffee with the Clergy meeting, and that will be Friday, January 17th from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Lawson State Student Success Center. I'd like to invite all of the District 7 clergy to attend. If you are a clergy member in District 7 and would like to be added to our quarterly invite list, please email izola.hall@birminghamal.gov or text to 205-767-9530 with your contact information. And just lastly, I do want to remind the citizens that the Utilities Committee, we are looking to fill 7 vacancies for the Birmingham Cable Commission, so we'll be sure to get this information on the residents page on our municipal government website. Thank you.
Thank you. A couple of announcements, and also we could get the video for the Birmingham Bowl. I know Councilor Abbott, you mentioned that, and but we could show that video.
We know that they have a great opportunity to take in the Southern hospitality here in Birmingham.
This is actually all of our first time in Alabama and Birmingham, so it's been really fun.
Very excited. Very excited. Heard a lot of great things. We're excited to be here and get things going.
This year we have Boston College, Cincinnati, 2 teams from a little further up north than us, and they, a lot of those guys don't always have the opportunity to know and experience some of the history that we get to see and maybe take for granted knowing it so up close.
It's a great economic impact catalyst, whether you're ending the year because we've had the bowl game both pre-Christmas as well as post-Christmas after New Year's, or you're starting the year out. Over the last 13 years, we've had over $151 million in views into the greater Birmingham area. So we're excited about this bowl being here each year.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay updated on all the latest news and information from the Birmingham City Council.
All right, I want to thank everyone for who came out and thank all of the city. It was a team effort to make sure that the fans from Cincinnati and from Boston College, had a great time, and we all weathered the storm and the 2-hour weather delay. So anyway, I want to thank everyone who participated. So a big thank you to that. Real quick, I want to thank Officers Washington and Rower. Did I pronounce that correctly? Did I pronounce that halfway right? Sir? Roar. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. So anyway, I want to thank you all for being with us today. Real quick, we have a lot of things to do this upcoming year, so we're going to be kind of polling everyone so we can find some meetings, times to have some committee to hold meetings. We might have to have multiple ones this month, but we've got a lot of issues that we talked about in December that we need to discuss and receive briefings from the mayor's office on several items, and so we're going to be asking everyone to kind of find some times where we all can be present and we can all have serious conversations to make sure we kick off the year on the right page. So with that, I think that's everything. I want to wish everybody Happy New Year. All right.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.